people, too.
And now here's the star of the show, Michael Young.
Welcome to Kids Are People Too. I'm Michael Young. Hey, imagine what it would be like if you made your living jumping off of buildings, falling off of cliffs, flying through the windows, or dodging fists, you know, in some sort of action-packed fights or whatever. Well, if you happen to be a stunt artist, that's the way you'd make your day's work. It takes coordination, courage, and skilled training, the most important. Today, we're going to meet a man who's received thousands of punches from the likes of Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, James Garner. He also runs America's only stunt school. They're with us here today, still in love and still together, the Captain and Tennille. Yeah. There's a lot coming your way, so stay with us on Kids Are People Too. Because of their catchy melodies and their fun lyrics. Let me give you a hint as to who they are. They said, you better shop around on a lonely night, because the way that I want to touch you means that love will keep us together, especially if you like muskrat love. Okay, well, long before they became popular for these lyrics, they were entertaining people in nightclubs with the kind of song you're about to hear them perform. Let's welcome the Captain and Tennille.
With a smile and tell me I'm a lucky one, and we've just begun. I think I'm gonna have a son. He will be like him and me, as free as a dove, and conceived in love. The sun is gonna shine above, and even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything will bring a chain of love. In the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright. Love the guy who holds the world in a paper cup. Drink it up, love him and he'll bring you love. And if you find he helps your mind, honey, bring him home. No, don't you live alone. Try and earn one lover's own. And even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything will bring a chain of love. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright.
I guess I should say for everybody that it is Tony Tennille and Daryl Dragon. And
Without hat.
you don't always go by Captain. The hat does, I guess. But this is really like how you started, right?
Yeah, it really is. In fact, I was going to say it felt a little weird to me because we started out just the two of us, because in the nightclubs where we worked, most of the time they couldn't afford to pay us enough to have a bass player or a guitar player or a drummer. We never had a drummer when we were starting. The stages were too small, and so Daryl and I had to do everything ourselves.
Daryl, you're quite an accomplished musician. Where did you get your musical training for all the keyboards?
I started back, well, my father's a symphony conductor, Carmen Dragon. He's done a lot of work in schools also. He's conducted for years. And he sort of insisted that I get into it. I have, there's 5 kids in the family, and we're all
musicians?
Yeah.
So in other words, your background when you were younger was classical then?
Yeah. Well, it is, yeah. Most kids, most people start out classical. I don't know, pop music doesn't give you a well-rounded thing. Organ really helped me when I took it in college.
Tony, what about you? Is your background in classical music, or?
Yeah, I had 9 years of classical piano, and I had, vocal training, which I think is real important. And I was afraid, like a lot of kids are afraid, that if you go to a voice teacher, you can end up sounding like an opera singer. Everybody thinks, oh, I won't be funky, if I go to... That's not true. You will be funky.
How did you all get together, though? What made you decide to team up? I mean, was it a husband and wife teaming first, or
oh no,
the
that
music
all
act teaming came first? Right?
Yeah, I had written a play called Mother Earth, which was an ecology musical, and we started in a little rep theater down in Southern California, and then we moved it up to San Francisco. It was professional production up there, and we needed a new keyboard player because we were going to move it down to L.A. to Huntington, Hartford, and Daryl was recommended as being available, and he flew up to San Francisco to meet me and see the show, and we hit it off real well right then.
I had about 8 keyboards that period, so I was ready to go. All I needed was a little showmanship, and here she is.
Yeah. That's fun. I just wanted you all to know what a pleasure it is for me finally to get the opportunity to meet you. Tony and I were born in the same hometown, Montgomery, Alabama.
Right.
And my mother tells me the story that she and your father went out together in high school.
Yes, sir. I'm going to check on that. Yeah.
Will you answer some questions from our audience?
I'd love to. I'd love to.
You got some? We've got some up here. All right, let's start right here. Stand up and tell us who you are.
Nicole Rio.
Okay, Nicole, go ahead.
Who has influenced your music?
I think Daryl was particularly influenced by some of the fine old blues artists, B.B. King and Albert King and people like that on guitar.
I would listen to Fats Domino.
And Fats Domino. And I was really influenced by jazz singers quite a bit because my parents raised me on real good jazz. And people, names you may not know, like Carmen McRae and Sarah Vaughan and ladies like that, really influenced me. And gospel music, black gospel music, and country music because of where I was raised in Alabama.
Great. Does that answer it?
Yeah.
Okay. How about right here? Stand up. Tell us who you are.
David Kay.
Okay. Go ahead and ask.
And I wanted to know if love really keeps you two together.
Is that a trick question?
I'll tell you what keeps you together. Love is the first thing. Love is the first thing, and the second thing is very hard work. Marriage is hard work, but it's worth it when you got a man like this.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, we got a question here. All right. Stand up. Tell us who you are.
Roberta Jurisic.
Okay, go ahead and ask.
When did you first decide you wanted to become a singer?
I've always been a singer since I was a baby. It's natural to me. And I think I always knew that that's what I was going to do.
That kind of determination, it's necessary, isn't it, to make it in the business?
Well, I think you feel that you have something, and I always felt I had it. And it was either that or be a sportscaster. So I decided I would be a singer instead.
Okay. We got a question here? Yeah. Stand up. Tell us who you are.
Laura Ellis.
All right, go ahead and ask.
Why did you choose the name Captain and Tennille?
Well, because Daryl was known as Captain Keyboard with the Beach Boys, and Tennille is my maiden name.
We were going to go like Peaches and Irvin, say Tony and Daryl, but,
Yeah, it doesn't ring. It doesn't ring.
Daryl, it tickles me because you're usually the silent partner. We're usually not used to hearing you talk as much. You're very vocal today. What's the difference?
I think it's the beard.
The beard? Beard makes you talk a little bit more? Were you shy like when you were young?
Yeah, I'm still shy. It's just, I find it hard to express myself in over 7 words.
What kind of advice would you give for somebody who really wanted to start in the recording business like right now?
Well, the first thing of all is get all the training and experience you can possibly get. I think there's no excuse for musicians not really knowing the basics. Take your lessons, study, whatever your instrument be. Keyboard's a good instrument to start with, piano.
And playing in front of people, too.
Playing in front of people. Daryl and I worked in clubs for years just to get the experience of playing in front of an audience, to find out what they liked, what worked, what didn't work. It's just hard work, but you got to be ready to do it in order to get that top, if you want to get to the top.
You know, we've got a young amateur rock group on the show today. They're called Special Delivery, and they've worked all week long to learn one of your songs. And we were wondering if you would come back a little bit later in the show and give them some musical tips and work with them a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, who knows? They may be headed to the top of the charts, right? Yeah. And coming up next, how to judge a community. Would you believe it's by its garbage? Right here on Kids Are People Too. Captain and Tennille. Daryl, how are you? That's really a true story, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a little bit of trouble getting record companies interested in what we were doing. We would send a demo record in, like lots of groups do, and we'd get the little letter back that would say, thanks, but no thanks. We already have a blonde singer, or we already have a keyboard magician or something, you know.
We've got an amateur rock group here with us today, and they want, obviously, to record their first single.
Yeah.
They're from Sepulveda, California. Did I get that right, Tony?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Hey, and they are attending Sepulveda Junior High School, and this is going to be their television debut today. A lucky for them occasion, because we're hoping that you'll stay and listen with me and maybe give them some advice and talk to them a little bit.
Sure, I'll listen to them.
Will you do that? Well, let's go take a seat. Hopefully they've kept us a couple of seats down here. Yeah, here we are. We'll listen to them right here from the front row. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Special Delivery.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her in your heart, then you can start to make it better. Hey Jude, don't be afraid. You were made to go out and get her. The minute you let her under your skin, then you begin to make it better. Na 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 na. Hey Jude. Na 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 na. Hey Jude.
Very nice. Very good. Let me first introduce you to everybody in the group Special Delivery. On vocals is Cindy Keegan. Yeah. And on the keyboards, Joel Mandel, right? Yeah. And on the drums, Steve Shaw. And our bass guitar, Brad Lehner, and on the other guitar, Todd Robbins. Tony,
Yeah.
what did you think?
I think that they're delightful. I really do. And of course, I'm always watching the singers. That's what I'm into. And you did really well. Were you nervous?
Yes.
Yeah, but you know, it didn't really show. You really had it together there. You looked like you were confident and like you were enjoying yourself, which is the whole trick there.
If we in the audience believe that she's having a good
Yeah.
time, then we have one along with her.
Absolutely. If somebody's up here performing, anybody, and they're just sort of, you know, not really, you know, the audience is going to say, hey, you know, it's not happening. But with you, if you smile and you're having fun, they're going to have fun.
Cindy. Yeah. Cindy, do you have some questions you'd like to ask Tony?
Yes. How do you try and not sing through your nose? When you go around, your mom tells you to plug your nose. And
Oh, no, absolutely. You've got to use your nose. In fact, that's where you resonate. You have, right in here, you have sinus cavities up here and in here, and you want to resonate the sound into your nose. Absolutely.
Oh,
You've got to
yeah?
use,
Oh, okay.
Any good voice teacher will teach you when the tone is produced, it's produced up from the diaphragm, and it comes out, and it resonates across the mask. We call it the mask. This right here.
wow.
So you want to use it. Don't ever plug your nose up. You've got to use that. That's where you resonate.
Any other
Okay.
questions?
How do you, when I sing, what should I do with my hands? Should I, move it back and forth? Or...
What should you do with your hands? You should do with your hands what you feel like doing, and never do anything that's forced. In other words, if you feel you should sing like that because everybody does and you don't feel like it, don't do it. If you want to just stand there and just move naturally with the music when you're singing, just do that. If you're a Tina Turner and you want to boogie with the music, you do that. But you do what your thing is, what's honest, what you want to do, and not what you think that people want you to do.
Well, when you were young, Tony, you used to copy your favorite singers, right?
No, that's absolutely right. I used to sit in front of the mirror, and I would sing. Do you do that?
Do you do that?
And I would sing along with Barbara Streisand or somebody, and I would watch myself, and I would do gestures, and I practiced. I tried all those different things until I developed my own style. Develop your own style. That's
Anything else?
No, that's it.
really good
Okay.
advice. Daryl, right now, can we talk a little bit to Joel on the keyboards? Okay. We'll leave the ladies for just a moment.
We're going to go get ready.
Y'all
for
go
this
get ready.
thing.
We're going to have another song, so get ready for that. Joel, come on over here and join us. I want you to meet Daryl Dragon. This is Joel Mandel, who's the keyboard man.
He just has a piano so far, I guess.
Right. Would you show us and show Joel and all of us at the same time your keyboards and your whole setup?
You might want to see what
Sure.
you can buy in the music store.
Right. All right, come on over. Let's find out a little bit. And Daryl, sort of clue us in on the group and what you thought.
Okay, well, I think you guys all sound real good, first of all, and I think you all should stick with music. I honestly say, sometimes you see people that don't belong in the business, and I think these guys, do you think these guys had a good beat, right? Anyway, let me get to my instruments here. The reason I have vibes, you ever heard vibes? Because when I met Tony, I used to work in a Hawaiian restaurant, right? So I just sort of keep them just for fun, because they're for color, But mainly the keyboards that you can find in music stores is the organ. Anyway, this is the synthesizer over here. Yeah, this is what so many people are interested in because it can take the place of all the different instruments like trumpets, say. Remember at the ball game? Right?
That's done on a synthesizer like that?
Well, the organist sometimes. Then you can have a clarinet. Why don't you just play a few notes and I'll change the sounds on you while you're playing, okay?
Sure.
Let's hold it down. We'll get some wind. Wind? Okay, I don't... Anyway, here's a... You can get a sort of a flute. Then... Let me give you a bird.
Now, Joel, are you following all of this?
Sure.
Do you have any questions you want to ask Daryl?
Do it. Uh-oh, it's stuck. Okay. That's a bird.
Brad, you got a question? All right, let me move over here and get Brad's question. Go ahead and ask.
Okay, besides playing bass, I also play the guitar and occasional keyboards. And I wonder, should I stick with one or keep on playing all of them?
I started with bass. I started with string bass, then I went to Fender bass because it was only the 4 strings. And now I'm trying to learn guitar. And because I'm adding guitar, I always feel more uncomfortable. I think it would have been better if I'd stuck with everything and made it all equal. I know one thing, you'll get more work if you play both instruments.
Very good advice. All week long, Special Delivery has been working on Muskrat Love, which is one of my favorite Captain and Tennille songs. And right now, we're going to have a first on TV, Muskrat Love with Captain and Tennille and Special Delivery. Here they are.
Muskrat, muskrat, candlelight, doing the town and doing it right in the evening. It's pretty pleasing. Muskrat Susie, muskrat Sam, do the jitterbug at Muskrat Land and the shimmy. Sam is so skinny, and they whirl and they twirl and they tangle, singing and jinging a jangle, floating like the heavens above. Looks like muskrat love. Nibbling on bacon, chewing on cheese. Sam says, Susie, honey, would you please be my missus? Susie says yes with a kissy. Now he's tickling a fancy, rubbing her toes, muzzle to muzzle. Now anything goes as they wriggle. Sue starts to giggle, and they whirl and they twirl and they tangle, singing and jinging a jangle, floating like the heavens above. Looks like muskrat love. Oh, Joel. And they whirl and they twirl and they tangle, singing and jinging a jangle, floating like the heavens above. Looks like muskrat love. Yeah, you guys join in now. Sounding good. How about you taking it by yourself, Cindy?
Okay.
Go.
Muskrat, muskrat, candlelight, doing the town and doing it right in the evening. It's pretty pleasing. Muskrat Susie, muskrat Sam, to the jitterbug out in Muskrat Land. Shimmy. And Sam is so skinny, and they whirl and they twirl and they tangle, singing and jinging a jangle, floating like the heavens above. Looks like muskrat love.
One more. All right.
And the Captain and Tennille. Thank you, dear. Thank you, Tony. Stay with us because a little bit later we're going to find out about the challenges of being a Hollywood stuntman. But coming up next, a man with a language all of his own, Norm